The form was a single page. She found it in a manila folder labeled Financial, 2023. Her mother's handwriting on the tab, the same careful printing she had used on every folder in every drawer of that house for 40 years. It was a change of beneficiary form. Her mother's 403b retirement account. $180,000. Her brother's name, where there had previously been two names. She put it back in the folder. She didn't say a word. Not for the next 7 weeks. And what she did in those 7 weeks, her brother never saw it coming. Her name was Vera. She was the older of 2 children, and she had spent her whole life proud of that fact in the particular way that firstborns are, not loudly, but as a quiet organizing principle. Their mother, Patricia, had worked as a hospital administrator for 28 years. She retired with a pension, a 403b she had never touched, and a set of organizational habits so consistent that Vera had grown up thinking everyone's parents kept binders. There was a binder for utilities, a binder for insurance, a folder for every financial account, going back decades. When Vera was in her 20s, Patricia had walked her through all of it. Where everything was. What everything meant. You need to know where the floor is, she told her. Everyone needs to know where their floor is. By the time Vera was in her 40s, the 403b had grown to just over $180,000. She knew this because her mother told her. Patricia told her a lot of things. They talked every Sunday. Her brother Marcus lived 20 minutes from their mother. Vera lived 3 states away. After their father died, the arrangement had settled naturally. Marcus handled the nearby things, the appointments and the yard work and the contractors, and Vera flew in 4 or 5 times a year and called every Sunday. She thought of it as a reasonable division of labor. She had not thought of it as anything else. There was one thing she hadn't noticed yet. She would understand it later. The first sign came 2 years before Patricia died. Vera flew in for a birthday weekend and found her mother confused about a utility bill she had already paid twice. The same bill, 2 payments, 2 weeks apart. When Vera mentioned it, Patricia laughed. "I'm just tired," she said. "You know how I get in February." Vera told herself it was fatigue. The second sign came 14 months before her mother's death. Vera called on a Sunday and Patricia mentioned, twice in the same conversation, that Marcus had helped her get her paperwork organized. When Vera asked what paperwork, her mother couldn't say exactly. "He handled it," she said. "He told me it would be simpler." Vera asked Marcus about it the next time she was in town. He said their mother had been mixing up some account statements and he'd helped her sort them out. Nothing significant. Vera told herself Marcus was just being helpful. The third sign came at Christmas, 9 months before Patricia died. Vera noticed her mother couldn't remember the name of the neighbor who had lived next door for 22 years. A woman who had attended both of her children's graduation parties. Patricia stared at the house for a moment and then said, "The woman next door," and moved on. Vera mentioned it to Marcus. He said their mother had just been tired from the holiday. He changed the subject. Vera told herself it was the holiday. The fourth sign came in February, 7 months before the end. Vera called on a Sunday and her mother asked, twice, whether Vera had spoken to their father recently. Their father had been dead for 9 years. Vera didn't tell Marcus about that call. Patricia died on a Tuesday in March. The funeral was Friday. On Monday, after Marcus had taken his family home and the repast dishes were done, Vera stayed behind to sort through her mother's files. The lemon cake Marcus's wife had made from Patricia's recipe was still on the counter. The house was quiet. She worked through the afternoon. The binders were exactly where they had always been. The folders were exactly as labeled. Patricia had kept everything. The folder marked Financial, 2023 was in the second drawer of the filing cabinet in the study. Inside was a single document. A change of beneficiary form for her mother's 403b submitted to the plan administrator. Dated 11 months before Patricia died. She read it twice. She checked the date. She looked at the signature. The original beneficiary designation Vera had found it in a folder marked Financial, 2001, listed both children equally. 50% each. The 2023 form changed it. 100% to Marcus. She stood in the study for a long time. She did not call Marcus. She did not bring it up at the repast that afternoon, where his wife refilled her coffee twice and his kids played in the backyard her mother had planted. She drove to the airport. She got on the flight. She counted the days. 11 months before Patricia died, her mother had already asked Vera twice in one phone call whether she'd spoken to their father. She opened a note on her phone and started writing things down. What she didn't know yet was how far back the paper trail actually ran. The first week, she documented everything she could access remotely. She photographed both beneficiary forms, the 2001 original and the 2023 change. She requested her mother's medical records through the patient portal Patricia had set up with Vera listed as a contact. She went back through 3 years of Sunday phone calls and wrote down every moment she had noted and then explained away. In the second week, the medical records arrived. She read through them carefully. 14 months before the beneficiary form was signed, her mother's physician had written in her chart, patient presenting with early-stage cognitive decline consistent with mild dementia. Memory lapses, repetitive questioning, difficulty tracking recent transactions. Advised family discussion regarding financial decision-making capacity. The note was dated 14 months before the 2023 beneficiary change. 11 months later, Marcus had submitted the form. She called an estate attorney in week 3. She brought the 2001 designation, the 2023 form, the medical records, and her own documented timeline, every Sunday call, every visit, every sign she had noticed and filed away. The attorney read through everything without speaking. Then she said, "Undue influence on a person with documented cognitive decline. You have the original equal designation, you have the medical notation predating the change by over a year, and you have a form redirecting the full account to the person with exclusive physical access. That is a very strong claim." She filed the challenge to the estate distribution in week 5. Marcus was served on a Wednesday afternoon. The thing she hadn't noticed, the thing Marcus had helped their mother organize, was her financial accounts. All of them. While preparing for the hearing, her attorney discovered that Marcus had also been added as sole authorized user on a brokerage account that had since been liquidated. $34,000, moved during the same period the dementia notation appeared in their mother's chart. That account became the subject of a separate civil claim. Vera had not spoken to Marcus since the repast. She did not call him after the service. The hearing was 6 weeks later. Marcus arrived with an attorney. His position was that their mother had made the beneficiary change voluntarily and with full understanding. That Patricia had simply decided, in the final year of her life, to leave the account to the child who had been present. That Vera had been 3 states away and didn't know what their mother had wanted. Her attorney placed the 2001 beneficiary designation on the table. Vera and Marcus. 50% each. Filed when Patricia was 54 years old and fully capable. Then the 2023 change form. Marcus only. Filed 11 months before Patricia died. Then the physician's note. 14 months before the form. Cognitive decline. Difficulty tracking financial transactions. Family discussion regarding decision-making capacity advised. Then the full medical timeline, every appointment, every notation, every reference to her mother's decline across the 2.5 years preceding the form. The judge reviewed the documents in silence. Then she said, "A beneficiary designation executed after documented cognitive decline, in favor of the family member with exclusive access and sole management authority over the account holder's affairs, meets the standard for undue influence. The 2023 designation is void. The 2001 equal distribution stands." Marcus received 50%. Vera received 50%, $90,000, plus the legal fees the court assessed against her brother for the cost of the proceeding. The brokerage liquidation became a separate matter. That claim settled 4 months later for $27,000. The folder Patricia had kept, the one labeled Financial 2023 in her mother's careful handwriting, had been intended to document the change Marcus had made. It documented everything else instead. Marcus spent 11 months believing a single form had rewritten what their mother had intended for 20 years. The folder she kept said otherwise. $90,000 from the 403b. $27,000 from the brokerage. Attorney's fees assessed against Marcus. Patricia had told her daughter to know where the floor was. To keep the records. To understand what everything meant. She did. If her story hit close to home, subscribe. We share stories like this every week. And if someone in your family has done something you're still putting together, you're not alone. Tell us in the comments.